Dominik Mysterio might have soul right over iconic WWE spot. Hello guys. Welcome to my channel. I am Elena. Have a nice day. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Dominik Mysterio is 163 days into his first reign as WWE Intercontinental Champion and 18 days into his first run with the AAA Mega Championship. The son of Rey Mysterio has impressed many in the industry since officially arriving in 2020, and now a familiar face is making the case for why Dominik has earned the sole rights to an iconic spot made famous by a late Hall of Famer. Dirty Dom retained the WWE Intercontinental Championship over Rusev in their first ever match on Monday's Live Raw in Raleigh, North Carolina. The first match of the night ended in just under 9 minutes after Mysterio tried to use his AAA Mega Championship in a cheap trick inspired by Uncle Eddie Guerrero, only for it to backfire. The third-generation superstar then used a low blow and a handful of tights to get the victory. The WWE Universe in Raleigh popped for Dominik Mysterio, which was acknowledged on the Raw recap by Sam Roberts, Megan Morant, and Big E. The former New Day member went viral for his heavy praise for the Judgment Day champion and his prediction on the next few years for Mysterio. Dominik Mysterio should own spot made famous by Eddie Guerrero, says Big E. Megan Morant commented on how she could not get over Dominik Mysterio's move to try and trick WWE referee Eddie Orengo on Raw last night in the win over Rusev. This refers to when Dominik used his AAA Mega Championship to try and pull off the Eddie Guerrero spot in hopes of cheating to win. Sam Roberts then chimed in on the Raw recap and explained to Morant and Big E about how the Eddie spot gets old after seeing superstars use it so many times. The Notsome host also gave Dominik Mysterio and Eddie Orengo props for their comedic, "Dude, I have seen the Eddie spot. I feel like the Eddie spot is the Eddie spot. It's where you throw the belt to your opponent and then you lay down on the mat, and I feel like Eddie did it and it was the most brilliant thing. And then after the first tribute someone does to Eddie, you're like, that's super fun. And then after the second tribute, you're like, I get it. And then the more you see it, you're like, all right, I've seen the Eddie spot. I've seen the Eddie spot." The twist on it on Raw where the referee was like, "I just saw you do that. What are you doing?" Big E and Morant laugh. "I was like, that's fantastic," Sam Roberts said. Big E agreed and expressed gratitude for smart referees. The former WWE champion then made the case for why Dominik Mysterio should exclusively own the Eddie spot moving forward. "We got smart referees. Yeah, shout out to Eddie Orengo for being a smart referee. I'm glad we got some smart referees now, and I will say I'm with you too. I love the Eddie spot, but it can lose its appeal if you see it over and over again. I think it's Dominik's spot now. I think Dominik has the right to the Eddie spot. Everyone else has to leave it alone. It's Dom's exclusively. He's owned it. He's been killing it. It's his." Big E said WWE issues a statement after Becky Lynch gets involved in a backstage fight with male star. Becky Lynch was involved in a backstage fight on WWE Raw. The company has now issued a statement regarding the incident that saw the man attack Akira Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree. Lynch has been proclaiming herself as the best female wrestler in WWE history over the last few weeks. However, Maxine Dupree took a shot at her by stating that while many may believe that, AJ Lee certainly does not think so. This caused Akira Tozawa to laugh out loud, which did not sit well with the Women's Intercontinental Champion. The man took out Tozawa with a punch before returning to lay out Dupree, who was checking up on the male star. WWE posted the video of the backstage incident on their official X handle. They also issued a statement noting that Becky Lynch is completely unhinged. Becky Lynch joined Seth Rollins' faction, The Vision, at Clash in Paris, where she helped her husband defeat CM Punk. The man also slapped Punk multiple times on Raw, which eventually led to AJ Lee making her return to the global juggernaut. Lee teamed up with her husband at WrestlePalooza to defeat Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. The former Divas champion picked up the win for her team after making the man submit. This is the major reason why Becky lost her cool on Raw when Maxine Dupree mentioned AJ Lee. AJ has been absent from WWE programming since the match, along with CM Punk. While the best in the world is slated to make his return next week on Raw, there is no word on when Lee could be back. It will be interesting to see what's in store for the former Divas champion once she makes her return. Given that she made Lynch submit at WrestlePalooza, one can expect AJ Lee to go after the Women's Intercontinental Championship upon her comeback. CM Punk, on the other hand, seems to be moving on from the feud with Seth Rollins, as the latter currently has his hands full with Cody Rhodes, whom he will face for the Crown Jewel Championship at the Crown Jewel Premium Live event. 5 bold predictions for WWE Crown Jewel 2025. WWE Crown Jewel currently has only 4 matches booked. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes battle for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. Stephanie Vacker faces Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. The Kabuki Warriors will clash with Rhea Ripley and IYO Sky. The John Cena retirement tour continues against AJ Styles. Officials may add 1 or 2 more matches to fill out the card. Becky Lynch could defend the Women's Intercontinental title against AJ Lee. The Vision facing Roman Reigns and Jey Uso is also a possibility. With less than 2 weeks to go, here are 5 bold predictions for Crown Jewel Perth. Jimmy Uso walks out on his family. Roman Reigns only seems concerned about Jey Uso and revenge on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. He outright ignored Jimmy Uso during his return on Raw. The tribal chief didn't trust CM Punk last year. He needed acts of loyalty before truly accepting Sami Zayn and Jey again. Jimmy sees that Roman is manipulating Jey again. Writers always sow tension among the heroes, leading up to War Games. With Reed from Australia, he'll be involved in some match. It could be another tag team or 6-man match. Whatever happens between the 2 sides, Jimmy will walk out on his family. It will create doubt ahead of the inevitable War Games clash between the 2 sides. He'll eventually rejoin his family closer to the event. Stephanie Vaker beats Tiffany Stratton at Crown Jewel. Stephanie Vaker won the vacant Women's World Championship at WrestlePalooza. She hasn't defended the title and will have to wait until after Crown Jewel for that honor. Tiffany Stratton is the longest reigning current WWE champion, holding her title since early January. She's proven to be a top-level performer with wins over Jade Cargill, Nia Jax, and Charlotte Flair. Stratton should win since she has been a champion for much longer than Vaquer. But to keep La Primera looking strong, she must win her first contest after capturing the Women's World title. She'll beat Stratton in what could be a show-stealing match. Many former WWE stars have returned to the screen via the TNA partnership. Steve Maclin, Matt Cardona, Za Brookside, and the Hardys have all appeared on NXT programming after departing. Shayna Baszler also popped up on the Homecoming edition, imploring Sol, Ruka, and Zarya to work out whatever issues they had. Another release star could pop up close to her homeland to confront her former allies in damaged CTRL. Dakota Kai was an integral part of the faction, but was the only member to be released from WWE. She's from nearby New Zealand and could have a one-off appearance to get her former friends to reconcile. It's what happens after that potential meeting that would set things up for after Crown Jewel. The newest member of the Vision debuts. The Vision needs to add a star from NXT to encompass all future versions. Rollins claims the group will guide the industry for future generations. Having Breaker is one step towards that plan. To make an impact and add a different layer to the feud, a new member of the Vision will emerge at Crown Jewel. So far, it's been the 2 sides trading wins, with one of the USOs or Reigns saving the others. Tony D'Angelo was written off TV a few months ago. Ricky Saints and Ethan Page are both holding titles. D'Angelo was close to Breaker in and out of the ring. His addition would tip the numbers in favor of the Vision. It would also allow D'Angelo to tweak his character into something better suited for the main roster. John Cena's next opponent attacks after his match with AJ Styles. Provided nothing big happens between John Cena and AJ Styles, it feels like the 17-time champ will leave Crown Jewel with a victory. He got destroyed by Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza and needs to rebound before the final stretch of his tour. Styles will give Cena a great fight, but he will likely fall in the end. After a show of respect between the 2 sides, Cena's next opponent will make an impact. Only a few names make sense: Gunther, Rusev, or Solo Sikoa. The Beast shouldn't show up again to attack Cena since he's already claimed his trophy. Rusev and Sikoa have faced Cena previously. Gunther would be a great challenge. Before he embarks on another quest for gold, the Ring General will return to WWE by attacking the leader of Cenation. Jey Uso reacts with one-word message after shocking WWE stable reunion on Raw. Uso didn't need a long promo to get people talking after Raw. He went with just one word: still. That single post on Instagram was enough to let WWE Universe know the bloodline is back together and they're not fading away anytime soon. The reunion came after Jay and Jimmy scored a win in the main event over the Vision. Just when it looked like match was wrapping up, Roman Reigns stormed in with a steel chair and tilted momentum. The USOs took the victory, and then three embraced, closing the show with a reminder of their dominance. One word, big meaning. Still isn't just a throwaway caption. It signals loyalty, persistence, and unshakable family bond that's defined the bloodline story for years. Jay's been on a roller coaster recently, breaking away, chasing his own spotlight, even leaning into some darker tendencies. His brother Jimmy has hinted that Jay he grew up with isn't same guy anymore. Fans have also noticed Jay carrying himself with more of Roman's confidence, a shift that makes reunion even more intriguing. Now that faction is whole again, questions are obvious. Is this truly a reset or a temporary truce before tensions boil over again? The bloodline has always thrived on drama, and return of unity might only be calm before storm. For now, though, Jey Uso's one-word message says it all. He didn't write a speech, didn't tease a storyline, just dropped a statement that fans and rivals alike have to take seriously. In WWE, sometimes less really is more, and still speaks volumes. Former WWE champion claims Dominik Mysterio should be the only one using Eddie Guerrero's gimmick on WWE Raw. Dirty Dominik Mysterio retained the Intercontinental Championship against Rusev, implementing some classic Eddie Guerrero tricks to get the job done. Former WWE champion Big E not only believes Dom is a future WWE champion, but that he should be the only one to use Eddie's schemes. Former WWE champion claims Dominik Mysterio should be the only one using Eddie Guerrero's gimmick on WWE Raw. Dirty Dominik Mysterio retained the Intercontinental Championship against Rusev, implementing some classic Eddie Guerrero tricks to get the job done. Former WWE champion Big E not only believes Dom is a future WWE champion, but that he should be the only one to use Eddie's schemes. It's been nearly 2 decades since Eddie Guerrero passed away, so some readers may not be totally familiar with the Eddie spot. Basically, Eddie would toss a weapon into his opponent's hands before falling to the mat. He'd wake up as the ref put 2 and 2 together, attempting to get his opponent disqualified. It was one of many special tricks that made Eddie Guerrero one of the most beloved wrestlers in the history of the sport. There was something special about a wrestler owning their tactics, and Eddie did that. Part of tuning into whatever show he was on was waiting to see how he'd get himself out of a sticky situation. Like father, like kind of son Dominik has. Former WWE champion claims Dominik Mysterio should be the only one using Eddie Guerrero's gimmick. On WWE Raw, Dirty Dominik Mysterio retained the Intercontinental Championship against Rusev, implementing some classic Eddie Guerrero tricks to get the job done. Former WWE champion Big E not only believes Dom is a future WWE champion, but that he should be the only one to use Eddie's schemes. It's been nearly 2 decades since Eddie Guerrero passed away, so some readers may not be totally familiar with the Eddie spot. Basically, Eddie would toss a weapon into his opponent's hands before falling to the mat. He'd wake up as the ref put 2 and 2 together, attempting to get his opponent disqualified. It was one of many special tricks that made Eddie Guerrero one of the most beloved wrestlers in the history of the sport. There was something special about a wrestler owning their tactics, and Eddie did that. Part of tuning into whatever show he was on was waiting to see how he'd get himself out of a sticky situation. Like father, like kind of son, Dominik has fully embraced this character. On the Raw recap, Big E spoke with Sam Roberts and Megan Morant about Dom, claiming that the Eddie spot should belong to Dominik alone. I love the Eddie spot, but it can lose its appeal if you see it over and over again. I think it's Dominik's spot now. I think Dominik has the right to the Eddie spot. Everyone else has to leave it alone. It's Dom's exclusively. He's owned it. He's been killing it. It's his, said Big Dominik, continues to honor 2 separate legacies in the ring. Surely Eddie's smiling down on him. How Dirty Dominik Mysterio implemented the Eddie spot on WWE Raw. Dirty Dom battled Rusev on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. The Bulgarian Brute battered JD McDonough last week before getting a shot at the WWE Intercontinental Champion. And unfortunately for Dom, JD didn't leave a scratch on the former AEW star. Near the end of the title bout, Dom brought both the Intercontinental and AAA Mega Championships into the ring. The ref took one, and when his back was turned, Dominik cracked Rusev in the back with the other. It didn't faze the 304 lb superstar, so Dirty Dom did the next best thing. He lied. He tried anyway. Dom fell to the ground after tossing the belt to Rusev, but was caught by the referee. As the official tossed the other belt away, the Judgment Day member kicked the Bulgarian brute between the legs, rolling him up for another successful title defense. Big E, calling Dominik Mysterio a future world champion isn't laughable anymore, Dominik. Mysterio holding a world championship in WWE doesn't sound so absurd anymore. Mysterio is having a career-best year in 2025 as he won the WWE Intercontinental Championship and AAA's Mega Championship. Big E addressed Mysterio's rise on this week's Raw recap, which aired after Dom successfully defended his IC title against Rusev on Raw. Big E says he won't take anything away from Dom's talent, but he takes issue with the way he does things. He said Dom oozes charisma and star power and could even see Dominik leading the company for another 15 years. Taking things a step further, Big E said that he would have laughed at putting Dom in the future world champion category. Now, he says, it'd be a surprise if it doesn't happen in the near future. The thought of putting the label future world champion on Dominik Mysterio 3 years ago, 4 years ago, laughable. I'd laugh you out of the building, Big E said. But now, is this outside of the realm of possibility? Not at all.